Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about three bad things that will keep you from becoming a Python developer. If you're a Python beginner and you're learning and you're struggling to build your own projects and you're struggling to keep being motivated to code, this is something that you need to pay attention to, because these three habits will keep you from actually getting hired, actually building your projects, actually doing the necessary steps that you need to do in order to become a Python developer. I made some of these mistakes a couple of years ago when I first learned about Python. I kept making these mistakes and I figured out how to fix them. I'm gonna tell you how I fixed them and how I think about these problems and what kind of mindset I have in order to avoid these bad habits. So what I've noticed with Python beginners and a lot of people who start out with programming, and I used to make this same mistake, is that they take decisions in a slow way. They're used to spending a lot of time thinking about something. They're used to making decisions in a slow way, but the problem is that in coding, you usually have to make decisions fast. And when you become a Python developer, or if you become a software developer, you don't have the time to think about the decisions and you have to make decisions fast. And also another problem with making decisions slowly is that you don't see your mistakes. You don't see really the feedback for anything. Let's say you're writing code, you get stuck in some place, you're thinking in your mind, okay, should I do that? Should I not do that? Should I do that? Should I not do that? You get stuck in this kind of loop and you're not making the decision. The problem is you're not going to see the feedback. You're not going to see the code editor telling you the mistake that you made. And you can already see how if you just sit and don't make the decision to see the wrong thing that you're doing, you're not going to move forward. So a lot of people, a lot of beginners spend a lot of time thinking about, okay, should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I do this? Should I not do this? The solution is to make decisions as fast as you can so that you can see where you are making mistakes and you can get some kind of feedback. This comes down to actually asking questions for mentors. So I have students and sometimes they spend a lot of time thinking and they're not really asking questions if they get stuck in some kind of position. I remember I had this student who used to be afraid of asking dumb questions. The problem is if you're not asking questions, you're not getting the feedback from someone above you, or you're not getting the feedback from your coding editor. I used to train myself to make decisions fast. Even if it feels like this is not the right decision, you still need to make the decision so that you can see the mistake and so that you can move forward. And the same thing goes with coding. This same rule applies to everything in life. You have to make decisions fast so that you can see where you made a mistake, or you can see some kind of feedback from some person or from code or whatever, so that you can move forward with your life and your goals. When it comes to laziness, I think most people are lazy. I'm lazy, but I know how to deal with my laziness. I know how to pick myself up and do actually the things that I need to do. Even though I feel lazy, I don't care if I feel lazy. I can still get up and do the things that I need to do. How many times do you feel lazy going to the gym, but you still go to the gym? I hope you go to the gym and do your workouts or do them at home. It doesn't matter. You have to do the things that you need to do. When we talk about laziness, it doesn't matter, laziness or not laziness. It all comes down to having discipline, having accountability, and having the rules that you stick to. For example, let's say you decide to become a software developer and you want to learn Python. You will have to stick to some kind of accountable system, or you will have to take some kind of steps, and you will have to learn to do this every day. If you are lazy, And if you can't force yourself to learn to code, even if you have all the steps ahead of you, if you can't force yourself to do it at least 1 hour a day, you're not going to be successful. If I have things that I need to do, I don't care how I feel. I don't care if I'm sad, if I feel lonely, or whatever emotions that I have. If I have a task that I need to get done today, I'm going to do that task. And it doesn't matter if I'm lazy, if I feel bad, or whatever is happening in my life. If I have a task, I'm going to do it. And this is discipline that you learn. Nowadays, like I see a lot of people, like especially beginners who want to become software developers, they think that they can be lazy and they can just learn to code without any kind of accountability, any kind of discipline. It's not going to just happen out of nowhere. You have to discipline yourself. You have to have some kind of rules that you follow. You have to be consistent, and you can't be really lazy. There's no tip, no advice that I can give you for laziness. You just have to develop some kind of discipline, consistency, and you can train. This is like a muscle in your brain. You can train you should think about discipline as your muscle that you can train in your mind. This is something that you can work on. This is something that you can improve over time. So let's say you're really lazy today, but you want to improve your discipline. What you can do is you can write down the tasks that you need to do, and you just need to do them one by one. And you have to keep in mind that you're not going to always feel good as you're doing those tasks. And you're not supposed to feel good as you're learning difficult things like coding. The third bad habit that I wanted to talk about is excuses. No one really cares about your excuses besides yourself. And if you keep telling yourself the story that you can't learn to code, or you can't do the coding exercise today because of this reason or that reason, no one really cares. No one really cares about your excuses. And at the end of the day, if you keep making excuses, you're just lying to yourself. Why are you doing this at all? No one really cares about your life. No one really cares about your excuses. I don't care about your excuses. You can make your excuses as much as you can. I don't really care. At the end of the day, it's about your career, about your goals. And if you don't really want to do this, don't do it. On the other side, if you want to learn to code, there is no room for excuses. And once you become hired as a software developer, there is no room for excuses. When you are working on a real project for a real company, it's difficult. And a lot of times it's pressure. You have to work under pressure, and you have to make fast decisions, and you have to solve problems in a fast way. And you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And there is no room to make excuses. A lot of times when it becomes difficult, my mind goes into the mood where I want to make excuses. I don't want to do something. I want to make an excuse and just get rid of this responsibility, which is going to be the next point that I'm going to talk about, responsibility. But I still want to continue this point. You really don't have the room to make excuses. This is like a natural thing, natural laziness in people. We want to make excuses. We don't want to do the work. I think naturally people are actually lazy, and by default, we all want to make excuses. We all want to take the easy route, and we don't want to do the work. But you have to train yourself. You have to train this discipline in your mind that you can't really make excuses. You have to do the work. If you want to become a software developer, you have to do the work. You can't make excuses, and you can't blame everyone else for your mistakes, your excuses. At the end of the day, you just literally sound like a dumb person who's coming up with reasons why you're not going to be able to do the actual work that you need to do. This is like a childish thing that a lot of people do, a lot of beginners do. They think that they can just make excuses and get away from the work, but that's not how it works. you're not going to be able to get anywhere in life if you keep making excuses all the time, especially if you want to become a software developer. There is no room to make excuses. Alright, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this video. And if this sounds difficult to you, if you're struggling with Python and if you want to build your own projects but you just don't know what exact steps to take or how to find help for that, you can find my contact details below. You can send me a message with your situation. Just send me an email, explain your situation, and I'm gonna look at it, and if I'm going to see a potential in you, we will probably jump on a call and I'm gonna be able to explain to you how I did it, how my students became Python developers, and how you could do it for yourself in your particular situation.